Good morning. Today, we're going to learn about a parable told by Jesus called the Parable of the Wheat and the Weeds. It's from the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verses 24 to 30 and 36 to 43. This parable teaches us an important lesson about good and evil and how God will separate them in the end. Let's dive into the story.
Wait. We did the whole parable about seeds and weeds last week.
You're partly right. We were looking at a different verse last week. Jesus used seeds more than once to teach a lesson, and this lesson is a little bit different. Let's listen to the story, and then we'll see what he was talking about.
Once Jesus was telling a story to his friends, and it was about a farmer who planted seeds in his field. The farmer was a good man, and he wanted to grow healthy crops. One night, while everyone was sleeping, an enemy came and scattered weed seeds all over the field. When the farmer's workers woke up, they saw the weeds growing alongside the good plants. They were confused and went to tell the farmer. The workers asked the farmer if they should pull out the weeds right away, but the farmer said, "No, let's let them grow together. If you try to pull out the weeds now, you might accidentally pull out some of the good plants too." So the workers listened to the farmer and left the weeds and the good plants together. As time passed, both the weeds and the good plants grew taller. Later on, Jesus' friends asked him what the story meant. They wanted to know why the farmer let the weeds grow. Jesus explained that the field is like the world, and the good plants are like the people who follow God and want to do good things. But the weeds are like the people who want to do bad things and don't follow God's ways. Jesus said that just like the farmer didn't want to harm the good plants by pulling out the weeds too soon, God doesn't want to punish the good people just because there are some bad people around. Jesus told his friends that one day God will send his angels to separate the good people from the bad people, just like the farmer's workers separated the weeds from the good plants. The good people will go on to be with God in heaven, and the bad people will be punished. Jesus wanted his friends to know that God sees everything and knows who is good and who is not. So it's important for us to try our best to be good and follow God's ways, even if there are bad things happening around us. And that's the story of the weeds and the good plants from the Bible.
Now, let's talk about the important lessons we can learn from this parable. Well, we learned that good and evil coexist. That means they're here on the earth at the same time. Just like the wheat and the weeds grew together, good and evil exist in the world. We will meet people who make wrong choices and do bad things. All of us at some time will make wrong choices, but we want to try and choose the path of goodness and follow God's teachings. We also learned that we must have patience and trust in God. The farmer in the story teaches us to be patient and trust God's timing. Sometimes we might see people doing wrong things, but we must remember that God is aware of everything. He has a plan to deal with evil in his own time and way. We also learned about the final judgment. This parable reminds us that there will be a time when God will judge everyone. He will separate the good from the bad and will reward those who are trying to follow the right path. We should strive to be faithful and live according to God's will. And so, the parable of the wheat and the weeds teaches us valuable lessons about good and bad, patience, and the promise of God's final judgment. Let's remember to choose goodness, to trust in God's plan, and to live according to his teachings. By doing so, we can grow in faith and look forward to the day when we will shine brightly in God's kingdom.